Okay, to get started here, you can see that I'm spraying out my canvas with water. And then I'll take a big brush and wipe it across the canvas to make sure that the water is being distributed evenly. I always dip my brush in water before adding it to the paint. And then on a piece of paper, I'll rub it in and get the shade that I desire. And with small circular round brush marks, I start applying paint to the canvas. And I do the the round brush marks because it's very similar to the way a cloud naturally forms. Then with a big dry brush, I start blending it in. I go through quite a few dry, big brushes while I'm painting. I'll keep adding more color, and I apply it just a little to the side of where the wet edge is. When creating the sky here, I'm using grayed out blues, some greens, and soon I'm going to incorporate some yellow ochre to add warmth, and white for highlights and small light effects. And I keep blending out these colors, and hopefully new colors will form, which are always rather exciting. Just getting some fuzz off, and just keep working that brush, stroking out sideways. Now I'm adding a little bit of white here, but I always go easy on the white because it can become extremely cold and chalky looking. As you can see, I always start my paintings moving from left to right and across the top to the bottom. I don't know why I do that, I've just always done that. Now I'm adding a little bit of burnt umber, which is a shade naturally found in clouds. A little bit more white here. And you have to remember, this is just the base coat. This is how I start all my abstract paintings, is with acrylic. And afterwards, what you don't like can always be fixed with more paint. We're just getting a base down here. Once again, working it out with that big wide dry brush. You can see I spritz water to the bottom of my canvas, and I like doing that because when I sometimes spray with the spritz bottle, it makes little white marks appear. So spraying it down, I can just put my brush into it and then pick it up and go back into where I'm working. I often go back into some areas with a little bit more color, just to add some definition. You can see those white spots there, and that's from the spray bottle. Sometimes they work out, sometimes you can't blend them out. It's okay because this is just the base coat. We're going to get into a little bit more stronger color here with some orange and yellow ochre and a little bit of white, and just work it in. Blending is an essential technique in painting. Aside from creating smooth gradients in skies or backgrounds, you'll want to blend paint to create soft edges. A soft edge is a natural blur where one object or color transitions to another. I'm so big on blending. I don't like hard edges in my work. We're gonna add a little bit more burnt umber here. A little bit of white. And you can see how those clouds are forming. And we're getting close to the horizon line. This is an abstract, but I'm gonna have some sort of horizon line where the sky meets the water. You can see that I continue to add paint in circular motions. And this always works best for me. Just keep blending it out. And that's looking like a pretty good sky. It's a good start. It's rather hard to explain how I do things, but I think if you just watch, you'll get the hang of it. And do it yourself. Practice, practice, practice. There we go. It's looking good to add some turquoise soon. It's a little bit more orange. You have to work fast with acrylic, it dries so quickly. Sometimes when it gets really warm, I'll use an extender, which is, it helps keep the paint open. But it's cooler right now, so I can get away with just water to spread it. That'll be a whole nother video using extender. You can see I sprayed some water right onto that paper where I'm blending color, and that helps dilute the paint and makes for easier blending. I'll often spray water right onto my brush as well, just to get it a little bit more damp. Okay, we're getting ready to make that transition where we go into the water. A few touch-ups here in the sky. I love that blue-gray. Looks like I walked away for a cookie. Oh, here I go. I'm coming back. Okay, I'm gonna get the canvas a little bit wetter towards the bottom here. I'm generously spraying more water. I'm gonna flip over my paper. And we're gonna start adding some water. So you can see the strength of the color is stronger. It's a turquoise. And another dry brush to help move out the paint. Where the water meets the sky, you want the edges to blur naturally. You don't want a hard edge. You can see I move my color, you know, an inch or two back from where the color stopped, and I move the color into it, into that wet edge. And you just keep working that brush, keep trying to move out the color. Sometimes these dark colors can be tricky to blend, but you just keep working at it. A little bit of white usually helps soften it. Also, I tend to use different brushes for different colors. Otherwise, if you use the same brush and dab into different colors, then the color becomes grayed out. Right here I'm doing horizontal strokes, and it's sort of to mimic a water line. It's a little crooked, but it doesn't matter, it's just an abstract. So keep moving your brush back and forth, circular motions, and downwards. And depending on how much water you have in areas, defines whether the color is dark or light, which always adds interest. I'm really big into making contrasts of light and dark in my work. I think that adds interest to a painting. Just gonna bring some gold down into the water, just so you don't have a straight edge. A little bit of burnt umber. I love working with color. I've tried doing monotone paintings, and I don't know, I just tend to get bored with them. Also, when you're putting in your darks, it's good not to blend everything out. You want contrast. You can always go back over it, fade it out if you want with more paint, but it's good to leave some marks. Okay, I'm getting my brush wet again. And we're going to go into some pinks, maroon, purples. And once again, when you transition into a new color, make sure your canvas is wet enough so you can blend it into the other color. Circular marks, moving it down, blending it out. I like that purple color that's forming. And the purple or the magenta mixed into the burnt umber makes a whole new color, which I like. That's the nice thing about blending colors. You get all these other cool shades emerging. Okay, we're gonna add some more pink. All these colors that I'm working with, I don't even know the names of them because they come in these bottles made here in Mexico. So it's all in Spanish. But I think, we got some hot pink there. We have some rose colors, a madder. some wines. I think whatever is pleasing to your eyes, what you should work with. I'm gonna add in a little bit more yellow here, yellow ochre. Move it down, move it around, blend it in. So yeah, just watch what I'm doing here. I'm gonna let the music play and just continue to watch my hand and the way I move it and how I blend things out. I'm adding a little bit of white to my brush into the water line and just bringing it down as I'm trying to create maybe a reflection in the water. Bringing that yellow color down. And you can see when I'm working with the pinks and that, I don't use any white to dilute the color. I like the color to stay quite saturated. I'm big on building bold color. That neon pink mixed with the yellow forms a really cool colored orange, coral color. I like that. A little bit of burnt umber. And my dry brush, just keep moving it out, work it out. Another thing I want to stress is a little pink goes a long way. If need be, just add some more water to blend it out. A little bit more yellow in there. I'm moving the yellow out, the yellow ochre out, so it'll be a good tone to have underneath the other colors I'm adding on top of it. The brushes I'm using are 2 inches, 1 inch. That's because I'm working on a small painting here. When I'm working on my big abstracts, I usually work with 2.5 to 3 4-inch brushes. And I buy all my brushes at, just a hardware store, paint store. We're adding in some more pink here. I like the contrast I'm creating here. Blend it out. I'm using a smaller brush here, probably with a little bit of water on it, and just moving it out. In my next video, I will take this painting and show you how I use an extender, an acrylic extender, to sort of be like oil paint. It'll help move the paint across the surface, and we can make more defined areas and highlights and just fix any areas that need some work. And don't get spooked if you see, you know, portions of the painting that have marks, brush marks on it, or water spots, because we're gonna go over it. This is just a base coat. Adding a little bit more white here. I'm just continuing to add some more pinks, some browns. Very intuitively. It's an abstract, so you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see I'm fine-tuning some areas, and I switched over to even a smaller brush. I don't often work this small, but it's a nice change. And I think it'll help you see how I do things instead of going straight into a huge canvas. You can see I'm working that brown out. Once again, I'm using the smaller brush, just doing some swirling motions. I think I'm adding some drama here to the water. You can see how I work my color out on the paper before I apply it to the canvas. Instead of blending, trying to create the color right on the canvas, I like to create the shade I want to work with on my paper before I hit the canvas. This is looking a little awkward in here, but I'll fix it here. Some more yellow. I find when I work with bigger brushes, like this is about a 2-inch brush, things just seem to blend easier for me. When I get too small, it gets, I don't know, really chunky looking, I guess. I don't always want a tight effect. I want a looser look in my painting. I love the contrast between the burnt umber and neon pink. Put a little yellow in here. When you blend 2 or 3 colors together, I like the shades that it creates. And blend it out. Remember, you're always going for that soft edge, a natural blur. You can see how that yellow really makes things pop. I'm putting some orange in, and then once you blend it, you're going to get an array of color. The only tricky part is that if you get too much color on your canvas, you won't be able to spread it. You won't be able to blend it. That's the hard part about acrylic paint. So you have to know how much you can put on and blend at one time. It's something you just naturally get a feel for. This is looking good. We're almost coming to an end here. Just a few more highlights. I hope you found this video informative on how to start abstract, just a base coat. So like I said, in my next video, I'm going to show you how I take this even further. Just adding in a little bit more turquoise. Now I'm just kind of playing around here, adding a little bit more here and there. You also have to know when to stop, when to walk away. That's $1 million question in painting, when to walk away. Is a painting ever done? I don't think so. I think you just abandon it. You get bored with it. Okay, stay tuned to see some more of this painting develop. Thanks for watching, you guys.